Chalice Unitarian Universalist congregation. We're a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit, and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you're welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or you're with us this morning for the first time, we're glad you're here. I'm Alice Dodd, the worship associate this morning. Our worship musician is our music director, Tim McKnight. Welcome to our online worship service. Please notice on your menu that there's a button that says CC Live Transcript. That's our closed captioning service, and you can click on it to hide the subtitle if you prefer not to see it, or you can show the subtitle if you want that function on. For those of you who like to use the chat box during the service, which we hope you will, please be sure that when you post, that you've opened the little blue menu there to select panelists and attendees. If you only post to panelists, almost no one will see what you posted. And we want everyone to be able to read all the posts. So let's give ourselves a big hello, a hug, and a welcome. We want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice. Toward the end of the service, there'll be a link in the chat box for adding your name to our email list. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about the many online groups and activities we offer using Zoom. And once you're on our mailing list, you'll receive information about our monthly gathering for newcomers. Now let's take a breath together.
We acknowledge that our service is taking place on the stolen territory of the Kumeyaay, meaning humans or people, and the Payamkawishim, meaning Western people. A land acknowledgement works to undo the intentional erasure of Indigenous people and to support the resilience and strength that all Indigenous people have shown. We acknowledge the original inhabitants as a first and critical step toward learning and working with Indigenous communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and sacred homeland.
As we light a chalice, may the lighting of this flame remind us of our commitment to work toward a more just society. Principles, they don't tell us what we should believe. They tell us how we should be. They tell us how we should act in the larger world and with each other. Some say that Unitarian Universalism has fallen short of the image that was presented to so many of those who embraced this religion. But we're also mindful of the truth that Unitarian Universalism has shifted course to move toward a place of wholeness. It's been a long and sometimes unforgiving road, but we're here today because we're mindful of that past and because we have hope for the future. We want the practice of this faith to be a fulfilling manifestation of its promise. Open your hearts, seek new ways of understanding. Come, let us worship together. Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by honoring our joys and sorrows. If you'd like to share a joy or a sorrow with the congregation this morning, now's the time for sharing in the chat box. If you'd like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please email her. Her email address is in the chat box.
Today's story is titled That Is My Dream by Langston Hughes and Daniel Miyares. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to dance till the white day is done. Then rest at cool evening beneath a tall tree while night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream, to fling my arms wide in the face of the sun, dance, whirl, whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at pale evening, a tall, slim tree, night coming tenderly, black like me.
In honor of Independence Day today, we consider one of the great poems about our country and its highest ideals, a poem called Let America Be America Again by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was one of the most important writers and thinkers of the Harlem Renaissance, which was the African American artistic movement in the 1920s that celebrated Black life and culture. Hughes' creative genius was influenced by his life in New York City's Harlem, a primarily African American neighborhood. His literary works helped shape American literature and politics. Hughes, like others active in the Harlem Renaissance, had a strong sense of racial pride. Through his poems, novels, plays, essays, and children's books, he promoted equality, condemned racism and injustice, and celebrated African American culture, humor, and spirituality. First, we'll hear the poem, and then we've asked members of our Chalice transformation team to share their reflections on the question, what is your vision of what America will be when we finally live up to our ideals? We hope their words will help us all consider our own answers to this question and help inspire us for the work of making it happen.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home.
Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream, dreamer's dream. Let it be that strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath.
But opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air that we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free.
Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars?
I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart.
I am the Negro bearing slavery scars.
I am the red man, driven from the land.
I'm the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man full of strength and hope.
Tangled in that ancient endless chain of
profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need.
Of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today, despite the dream, beaten yet today.
Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years.
Yet I am that one who dreamt our basic dream in an old world while still a serf of kings who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true that even yet it mighty daring seems.
In every brick and stone, in every furrowed turn that made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home.
For I'm the one who left dark island shore in Poland's plain and England's grassy lea and torn from black Africa's strand. I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me.
The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay.
For all the dreams we've dreamed, all the songs we've sung, all the hope we've held, all the flags that we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dreams that's almost dead today.
Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet and yet must be, the land where every man is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, the Indians, Negroes, me who made America.
Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I said it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for right.
Good morning. My name is Dennis Brown, and I'm a member of Chalice and part of the transformation team. The 8th stanza of Langston Hughes' poem we're working with this morning reads, "Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again." So, how do we bring back our mighty dream again? A dream that has never yet been fulfilled. How do we build a country where we truly hold these truths are self-evident, that all people are created equal and are endowed with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Yes, this is still a distant dream. Why? Because all around us are the open wounds that our painful and horrendous history has brought. Wherever we look, we see significant inequities between white citizens and citizens of color, and prison populations, and treatment of by police, and family wealth, and health outcomes. Whites still overwhelmingly hold positions of power in government, business, and education. Yes, how do we bring back our mighty dream again? I believe we do it by uncovering our history and speaking it out loud. Our history of white supremacy that brought us slavery, genocide, and racial discrimination. In an interview with Ezra Klein, Brian Stevenson, the founder of the Equal Rights Initiative, urges us not to fear such truth-telling. It will not tear us apart as many fear, he says, but will actually bring us closer together and liberate us from the terrible burden our history has laid upon us. In his vision of this truth-telling, it would be comprehensive and told in small groups. We would uncover the difficult history of each town, each city, of our governments and businesses, universities, and faith communities, including our own faith, Unitarian Universalism, and how it's connected to slavery and genocide and racial discrimination, and also institutions like our military. As we share our truths and as we grow closer together, I believe an overwhelming movement will develop in all our citizens, and we will recognize that to fully redeem our country, justice must prevail. And for justice to prevail, we will recognize the reparations are essential. Yes, I do believe we can bring back our mighty dream again for our country if we are willing to face our truths. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amaki, and I'm a member of the Chalice congregation. I'm also part of the transformation team. What America will be when we finally live up to our ideals. Pioneers on the plain will not pollute the land with fracking, and oil pipes will not be buried on sacred land. The Supreme Court gutted key protections of voting rights in 2013. America will be America when there's an automatic registration of all eligible voters. Voting day will be declared a public holiday. Voter rolls will not be purged. Voter IDs will not be used to suppress the vote. And those who would like to vote by mail can do so freely. States will not make it harder for people to vote. Let America be America. Transgender he, she, him, her will be free to be themselves. Redlining and other bank practices is the cornerstone of American wealth. Planners for interstate highways cut through Black and brown neighborhoods. Affirmative action has been eliminated, and America will be America when it is reinstated to promote equality. Environmental justice, chemical plants, polluting factories, and incinerators are disproportionately located in Black and Latino areas. When we don't sacrifice human health and safety to protect corporate profits, then America will be America. There is racial and ethnic disparities in state prisons. 5% of illicit drug users in are African Americans, yet African Americans represent 29% of those arrested and 33% of those incarcerated for drug offenses. African Americans incarcerated are more than 5 times the rate of whites. America will be America when our prison system is reformed. Ongoing effort to censor education by claiming that critical race theory creates division between races are rampant. Refusal to accept that racism is embedded in policy, not just the product of individual bias or prejudice, is accepted. Legacies of our racist past influence the oppression of people of color today. If children of color are able to experience racism, then white children are able to talk about it. Critical race theory creates cultural awareness, and I argue it's a moral duty to teach the truth. America will be America when we can learn from each other. Race will not divide us. We will not view the world as us versus them. Let's embrace diversity, where we the people mean all the people. After the killing of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, 3/4 of whites reported that their social network is entirely white. The more you interact with people that are different from you, the less they seem like the other. When this transpires, America will be America again.
My name is Jeff Harlig. I'm a member of the Chalice Transformation Team. On this 4th of July, it's good to reflect on America's ideals, even if we know that there are a few that are not at least a little suspect. What should America, which after all means Americans, living people, be doing to live up to their ideals? Really asking myself this question fills me with confusion, embarrassment, and self-disgust. Confusion because I can't really work my way through the complex interactions of history, policy, economy, and humanity that have gotten us into today's social and moral mess. Embarrassment because all the words I can think of to express how things should be seem cliche. Discarded pronouncements of socialism and communism, discredited 4th grade civics lessons, disingenuous teachings from 8th grade history, flower child pronouncements from me, one of those people once ridiculed by a hard-ass talking head former general on Fox News as freeze-dried hippies. Self-disgust because since my earliest days as a sporadic resistor, I have, even after putting myself on the line, retreated to the comfort and safety of whiteness, maleness, privilege, access to income, insurance, food on the table, a home. Because in 50 plus years of social awareness, I have never decided once and for all what I think should happen in our country and the world, and what I am willing to give up to help make it happen. I still take action, though, and guide my actions by listening closely to the voices of people of color, immigrants, LGBTQ people, low-income people, even Republicans. Yet because I have been an educator and often, frankly, a propagandist, I am sensitive to the machinery and vocabulary of promoting ideas. One reason I resist stating principles, as you may notice I am doing today, is because it is so distracting to think about the form in which these principles are stated. I admire the constant effort of theorists and pundits, not to mention authors like Langston Hughes, to come up with the framework for expressing what has been done to people of color and others that will actually cause those of us who run a privileged world to stop, listen, and change. There have been appeals to guilt, efficiency, fairness, economic development, self-interest, self-protection, logic, reason, morality, compassion. But we've never listened to the voices that have been shouting clearly at us, "You have exploited us, murdered us, cheated and robbed us, raped us, lynched us, misadvised, misrepresented, misunderstood us. And really, you can stop at any time." This hasn't been enough to change the course of events for 400 years. So it's hard to know what formulation of those sentiments could be more informative and motivational. At the end of the day, this 4th of July day, we all know how America should be, just as we have known since before the country began. What we have to decide is what we're willing to do and give up to make it that way.
So, what would my imagined America look like? I can barely imagine how we get to the ultimate goal of equity. I can only see way stations, and they are a great distance from where we are. But here goes. I want to live in an America where I don't sit next to a sweet white woman who tells me that she went to a Christian college, that she has a touch of Pocahontas in her, and that Asians bring and abandon their teens to go to high school in her district. And I know there is no percentage in even going there with such a casual psychopath. And then I cry inside, and the unspoken drags me by the neck until I want America to feel this shame, to be conscious of this wrong. I want our opinion of ourselves to be scarred like the backs of the enslaved. I was, after all, raised in the tradition of sinners in the hands of an angry God. But perhaps that is too harsh. No one should be subjected to perversions, but what we did to others needs to be named and accounted for. I'd like to live in an America that has matured beyond the brash, loud, stubborn reprobate of a nation and has confidence enough to admit error, reconcile wrongs, and amplify our gifts. I would like to see us bring humility to the foreground and couple it with openness and curiosity. I would like for us to all look to those who have been the most resilient, courageous, and persevering in their drive for freedom to show us how to be more brave and less fearful. We are so fragile that we may be too brittle to be pieced together after all. In my America, everyone votes and every vote has the same weight. There's a justice system in my America, not merely a legal system where laws are written to serve the males with lots of green who want more, always more, never just enough. Actually, I'd like an America where wealthy white people have no access to power for 100 years. That would be a preamble to promoting the general welfare, to decentering ourselves and our privilege while moving it to where it should be. I'd like a government that understands its purpose, obligations, and responsibilities to its citizens. I'd like reality to be present and accounted for, not just a nebulous fog of insincere ideals. I want us to stop acting as if our whiteness is our wholeness when whiteness keeps us from our wholeness. And by the way, I'd like us to be committed to rescuing the only planet currently inhabitable. And because this vision of America is so openly laughable in 2021, I am looking for way stations. To paraphrase Whitman, something startles me where I thought I was safest. And in response, here is where I'm headed. I'm actively seeking to educate myself to see the extent of the through lines in history that enable me to define the systemic entrenchment of white supremacy culture. I continue to read and explore, but I admit to a great deal of bafflement about how to eliminate my reliance on the characteristics of white supremacy culture like urgency, worship of the written word, and right to comfort in particular. Clearly, I've already found a way to leave perfectionism behind, so no worries there. I see the huge gap between my rights and where the rights of BIPOC reside, somewhere between the not yet been and again that Hughes invites us to inhabit. I recognize that I am in moral debt to that gap. I invite you all to recognize that we share that moral debt. And my work lies in narrowing it however I can in even the smallest ways. I'm not satisfied with where I am or where the country is, but I think I'm getting a clue to the immensity of what is before us. I know the necessity of going forward, but I can't say that I dwell in more than a fractured hope.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Sharon Salzberg writes, "Generosity is characterized by the inner quality of letting go or relinquishing. Being able to let go, to give up, to renounce, to give generously. These capacities all spring from the same source within us. When we practice generosity, we are open to all of these liberating qualities simultaneously." Please text your donation to Chalice. We have a change to our text donation process. So even if you've made donations this way many times before, and thank you if you have, you need to set it up all over again because we have a new phone number for text giving, and you'll need to enter your credit card information again. So once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow. Enter your credit card information. After you've entered this information once, you won't need to enter it again. If your Sunday donation is part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. You can make a text donation anytime. The new phone number will be on the screen in a moment, and we'll also put it in the chat box. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. As Unitarian Universalists, we gather to affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
When other with me, and please don't flee. I look inside when it's hard to see. This eventide, take a ride around the bend. Still with me, abide when the shadows begin. So much has faded, left me jaded. God has changed, it's complicated. From growth to decay, emergence be beyond thought and strategy. Where to explore the sunlight's middle day. Earth's joys are dim, its glories pass away. Change and decay, and all around I see. All our change is not abide with me. So many know, I fear no foe. There is a steadiness on which I flow. Through the sickness, grandmother's wisdom is with us. In liminal spaces, feeling so breathless. Death is an exhale, inhale with us. New life cuts through strife like a knife. Somehow we take it in, moving for the win, shaping change, and from endings begin. You are a holy friend. I fear no foe with the atom to bless. Yeah. Hills have no weight, and tears no bitterness. Where is the sting that brings thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers anointed by God may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where sisters and brothers anointed by God may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold.
Before we close this service, I'd like to remind newcomers to please use the link in the chat box to add your name to our email list. Thank you. Our closing words come from Maureen Killeran. No matter how insignificant we might feel, we each have gifts and talents that can help make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong, be connected. Each day act so you may become a little more whole. You're invited to close our time together by singing the well, and everyone is invited to coffee hour.